Hi. Yes, we're also very relieved. It was a little scary last time.
We analyzed the events of the evening and found them 31.245% frightening and 68.700. Leaving in such a hurry is not an experience we care to repeat.
Hopefully, this will be a quieter evening.
Yes, that is our wish. Anyhow, greetings are customary in cafes, bars, and restaurants, are they not? Therefore, good evening. Even if in reality, it should be good night. We find that very strange. That good evening is a way to say hello, but good night is a way to say goodbye. Is this assuming that you never start an encounter at night? Because that theory would appear to be empirically wrong. For example, this is the second time we meet, Earthchild, and both times have been at night. Our 100% sample does not bear out the aforementioned premise. Additionally, the very concepts of evening and morning seem only marginally.
Amanda?
Yes, what is it?
I think they tried to interject a couple of times. Forgive me if I'm mistaken. Yes. At least in this particular case, no one's getting hurt. Since I arrived here, I've observed that some thoughtless uses of language can have a much more painful effect.
We see, and we agree. And we apologize for interrupting you. Communicating without a hive connection is rather challenging. Besides, we have been in a somewhat heightened mental state. We have been finding Earth quite curious. Extraordinary, even. We are keen to absorb as much information as we can during our visit here. It seems to us our siblings who previously visited Earth came back with findings of a rather superficial nature. We are excited to gather data that will advance the science of Earth studies. Our return to the hive will be triumphal. Ahem. Of course, we do not do such things for the glory. But still, we are looking forward to seeing our work recognized. Yes, that is a good equivalence of what we are. We specialize in data gathering and analysis of poorly charted territories. Oh, DGAPCT is much less impressive than our siblings. Silver is an explorer and an adventurer. He is deserving of respect. And his mission to find a prospective partner is of the utmost importance.
Well, I wouldn't quite say that. You're always so professional. You rarely ask direct questions, but I think you're a little curious about the gossip, right?
What is gossip?
Gossip is information about what goes on in other people's lives.
Oh, we see. So it's like data on individual beings then.
Yes, that sounds right.
We love gossip. What is wrong with it? We must consider our choice of drink carefully. We suggest our sibling goes first.
I have an idea, yes. A barista? How am I... Oh, you mean the cafe? I am, after a fashion. But I'm not focusing on drink menus just yet. I promise I'm not just withholding information. But things are a little complicated. Is it alright if we start with a drink? I'll try my best to explain everything afterwards. Then, I think I'd like something simple tonight. Do you remember the first drink I ordered when I came here years ago? It was a coffee drink, and I think you mentioned it was very bitter. Yes, I think that's right. A bitter and tart coffee drink. What is... This is quite something. Thank you, truly. You can't know how much it helps, but it really does. I'm sure I could figure something out. I guess I have, somewhat. I'll let you know how this plays out in the end. Thank you again. This definitely looks like what I had in mind. And it tastes interesting. It's very minimal, yet strong. Very enjoyable. I think I might prefer sweeter things, but I'm glad I tried this one. I don't know. I do think that everyone keeps changing all the time. Maybe we feel like our personalities make sense because we see ourselves in hindsight. When the truth is, we make ourselves up as we go along.
That is an insightful theory, Silver. You have grown wiser. You used to be a rather youthful and innocent part of the hive.
Well, I have had to learn and adapt here. It has been a couple years after all. But despite all that, and considering what I said about people changing all the time, I don't think I have changed all that much. In fact, it's as if I've been just revealing myself.
Speaking of that, we meant to ask. How did you choose the specific Earthling appearance over another? Our observation is that Earthlings come in a great many varieties, with a near infinity of combinations. Did you run a random generation algorithm?
Oh, no. It wasn't random at all. Even if at first, it wasn't a conscious process. I chose the way I look because it felt true to who I am. When I first started coming to this cafe, I I had a hard time understanding this world and its rules. But there already were some things that I could relate to. Some things that felt familiar. Like Hyde's eyes, that always see beyond the surface. Or Gala's outfit, which is a sign of kindness and trust. I borrowed those traits from them, without even realizing. Yes, our species seems to have the ability to do that. But Gala's fashion I couldn't keep after all. It came with responsibilities. People stop me all the time to ask me for medical advice. Yes, but then I found this fictional universe, where all the stories take place in the stars. So I changed my outfit to imitate theirs. And at some point, it all came together. One morning, I saw myself in a mirror, and I felt right, like the way I looked matched who I was. It made me feel at peace. So although I look different now from when we first met, and although I have learned the ways of the world a bit and have grown a bit, in many ways, I still feel the same.
Different, but same.
Yes, different but same.
It makes sense to us. Oh, is this Laurel?
No, this is from Pearl.
Still no news from Midge. We think the odds are now 84.308% that she is phantoming you. We mean phantoming, as in when you think you hear a sound, but your ears are merely playing a trick on you. We thought we had established a hive connection with Midge, but it was only a phantom sound after all. Anyhow, what is Pearl saying?
That her calendar might clear up soon if I want to meet up. I think it may be time I tell you a little bit about this.
But we wish to order a drink as well.
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, Amanda.
Curious that Earth drink-making skills are so refined, yet so unreliable. This is a land of contradictions. But do carry on, sibling.
Right. So, I've been relying on Amanda to help me with the online part of online dating. And it's been working really well. On average. There have also been some small issues.
Earthlings are strange. Some Earthlings express their interest, but when you say hello, they never answer back. While in real life, saying hello is a starter for 99.845% of it seems that online, more humorous or breeding-oriented openers are favored. However, if an opener is entirely horned, it is considered out of bounds and angrily dismissed. Yes, that is when prospective partners send you close-up pictures of their horns.
Oh, yes. I think would be fine after a bit of conversation. If we get into the mood and they ask me first, I'd probably say yes. Horns can be really pretty, you know? But it feels very strange when that's the first thing they do. Before they even write a single word.
And then sometimes, Earthlings express interest. But after reading a joke that is statistically funny 99.908% of the time, they answer with a sad face and block communications. Yes. Fortunately, online dating is governed by the law of large numbers, which favors persistence. We are patient.
Amanda has been spending a lot of time on the app. And it started to work out. I'm now having conversations with some really nice people. Especially Pearl.
We prefer Laurel. Her facial features are more symmetrical. But Silver seems to favor the asymmetrical Earthling.
It's just... she sounds like a really good person. She's a communications director for a charity that fights homelessness. She cares about other people a lot. I don't think she's been very lucky in return. But she's very funny and curious of everything. And her smile.
Please desist. We can sense your hormones boiling.
I really hope so.
Do you have a day and time for your date?
No. This is on a different topic. Please excuse me.
No, we have been enjoying it. But we also see the limits of it. We are a hive mind. A hive mind knows no boundaries or limitations. We share all our thoughts and desires. It is not difficult for us to connect. We are born connected. But Earthlings are guarded. They have complex emotions. And they have no means of truly knowing what anyone else feels. That makes them afraid of judgment and of hurt. It must be very difficult and painful for them to connect deeply. There is so much they must let go of first. We could not live like that. Like a hive, but not a true hive. A true hive requires honesty and directness, as well as a desire to deeply understand others. Silver is different. Even when he was a part of us, we could sense him looking outwards. That is why he has become such an amazing explorer. And that is why he made the effort to learn Earthlings' codes and behaviors. He did not just want to understand, he wanted to experience. We are not like him. We like to seek knowledge on what is different from us. But once we have that knowledge, we are satisfied. Uncovering it and bringing it back is what makes us happy. This is curious. It seems we are picking up some Earthling instincts after all. It is a good thing that our data readings here should soon be complete. It would appear so.
Amanda, we have to go.
What? Again?
That call was bad news. The agent. Too late. Just hide behind the counter, quick.
You know very well I'm not here for drinks. I'd rather not involve any more civilians in this, though.
Oh, do you mean me? I'm sorry, but can't whatever this is wait for another night? I haven't finished my drink yet, and it looks like rain again outside.
Well, here's something that can't wait, for starters. Barista, did you happen to find an ID card lying around? I certainly hope you're telling the truth. Well, you're awfully good at avoiding straight answers, and
Losing an ID card sounds very troublesome. Back when I worked at a delivery center, they'd make us pay a lot to replace lost ID cards.
ugh. That's not even the start of it. My job is a lot less forgiving than a delivery center.
I'm very sorry to hear that. What's your job, exactly?
We uncover illegal aliens and extradite them, which is why I've been coming here in the first place. We keep getting tips that there have been alien sightings around this cafe. Speaking of which, have you noticed anything out of the ordinary, young man?
I can't say that I have. I don't come here all that often. But it's always seemed very above board to me. Are you sure the tips aren't a prank? It seems that some young people enjoy those as a pastime. There are very popular videos of them online.
That... maybe it is, but I still have to investigate properly. Otherwise, my superiors will have my head on a platter.
But you can't waste your time on a cold trail either. Surely your superiors will see that you've done your best.
I doubt that. They're a bit obsessed with the alien situation.
Obsessed? Is it really that big an issue?
Well, having such unusual elements around disturbs the public peace. Your average Joe has no clue what to make of them, you know? It makes people feel unsettled.
I see.
Although, the visible aliens aren't too bad from where I'm standing. At least we can identify and extract them. Aliens who try to pass for Earthlings are a bigger problem.
Why so?
For one, it just muddles things. No matter how much they try to look like they were born aliens, and aliens they will remain. But now, they're aliens who don't look like aliens. What does that mean, you know, and where does it stop? What if some Earthlings decided they wanted to look like aliens? That would be a huge mess.
Would it?
Anyway, the top brass insist that we go after them. And in the end, that makes my job a lot harder. All that time spent detecting. Give me a good spacesuit wearing alien any day, you know? Oh, but don't you worry about a thing. We at Fire always find a way to keep the public safe.
I see. So how do you go about detecting them, exactly?
That one's easy. Once I have my suspicions, I check their ID. That makes it all clear, right?
Right. I do wonder, though. What is it? And I'm sorry if I'm being too curious. I have a habit of putting my foot in my mouth.
No, you're good. No harm in asking.
In that case, what is it that makes aliens so very different? There are all sorts of people living here. They all have different personalities, different looks. And for me, when I walk through the streets of Seattle, and I see that no two people are alike, I'll admit it makes me very happy. So if someone comes from further away, but they feel an Earthling at heart, would they really be more different from the people who live in this city? Than the people in this city are different from each other? Or would they just be another version of an Earthling? Perhaps no less beautiful.
At the end of the day, who the heck knows? It's not like I can afford to spend time pondering it. I don't have a dog in this fight, so to speak. Thing is, the law is the law, and my job is to uphold it. Well, it's not so much that the law is stringent against them. It's more that there's no law for them. Well, at this point, we have treaties and codes for all the races we know of, right? But we never made a treaty with aliens, or anything resembling it. There's no law even acknowledging their existence. That's easy. We have no way to regulate their presence. There's been no thorough analysis of how they can cohabitate with Earthlings. As I said, it's all very confusing. For all we know, they could be very damaging to us. So it feels safer to keep them away, at least for now.
Safer for whom?
It is what it is. I'm not afraid of aliens myself, and going after them is not my biggest passion. But since I'm doing this job, I might as well aim for a promotion. Anyhow, just call us at fire if you spot any aliens, alright? You seem like an honest sort, unlike some other people. Some other people who should learn to be more straightforward. If they want their business to stay in business. What was that? Right. I think I'm still going to conduct a search of the premises. Just to be on the safe. What the heck is this?
It's very cute. Good kitty.
What sort of a place is this? With your fiddly machine and your weird pets. And now, it looks like I have an emergency elsewhere. Well, I guess you're off the hook for now, you and your cafe. But make sure I don't get such reports about you anymore.
That's all right. You can come out now, I think, Amanda.
Well, we found this experience.
100% distasteful.
Actually, it was 40.235% distasteful and 38.931% exciting.
I apologize. This is just nerves. It's not your fault at all. No. I lured him away, at least for now. Although it's a good thing that little cat came in when it did. It bought us some precious minutes.
What sort of earthling are you? We see. We can feel this Earthling's intent better than usual. It is expressing it clearly. It wishes to rest and be left alone.
Ugh. I feel all out of sorts.
Is the machine really working again? Then make us a drink, and one for Silver as well. The same one should be fine for both. Just make it hot and comforting, and what would you like, sibling?
I think I need some sweetness right now. I would really appreciate a hot, very sweet, very comforting drink. This tastes amazing. Thank you. This really is my kind of drink.
It is very thick, is it not? The viscosity of this seems to be nearing 10,000 centipoise. We like how different this experience is from the drink you served us the other night.
Yes, I would definitely prefer to avoid them, but I need to get used to them anyway. It's more complicated than that. You know the cafe I said I'm opening? Well, it's not exactly like this cafe. In fact, it's not exactly a cafe at all. For the past few months, it's been the basis of operations. For safe. SAFE, Society for Aliens and Various Extraterrestrials. I know, it sounds very reckless. I don't know. But you see why I've had to become savvy, as you said. I have a lot of people depending on me now. Those who are just arriving to Earth and are confused and scared. Those who have adopted Earthling appearances and are trying to blend in. Those who are learning how to understand life here. And how to understand themselves. For all of them, it's an existential matter. Not everyone is meant to be a hive mind. I know I wasn't. No offense, Amanda.
We are not offended. We have always known you were different from us. It is all the same to us. You are our sibling, whether you live as the Hive or as an Earthling.
Amanda. I really do love you.
What is love?
That is not a conversation I think I can have. I'll explain it to you tomorrow, okay? After we both have a rest.
We will remind you of it.
I know you will. I think I'm getting a little tired now. Is it alright if we go back?
Absolutely. Our energy is also at 98.429%.
No, I don't think so. Thank you for offering, really. But you have a different part to play in all this. And you've been playing it very well. Us and many others. We know, and we're grateful. Good night. I'd say good night to the cat, but I don't think it needs my wishes.
Good night. Say, now we can use good night. We find it rather odd that.
Maybe we should continue this chat while we walk?
Alright.
Hey. How are you? Not too shabby, I hope. You sure? My shift is over, so I'm free now. Ah, that's right. Thanks for giving him the keycard, by the way. Good call. You saved me $100. A replacement key would have cost me at least that much. With the fines and everything. Yeah. I didn't think he'd be in Seattle, to be honest. I did. Let's just say I had a hunch. There's a pattern to his visits, even if he isn't aware of it. He'll fly here whenever he gets tired of something. Could be work, life, or simply because he's bored. Like with LA recently? Or so he says. Or there's something that keeps him coming back here. Take a guess. Me? Huh. I see. Well, he's not someone who's big on attachments, or so he claims. Who knows? Maybe that's changing. Because the answer is more or less your coffee shop here. There aren't a lot of places with a good crowd and a warm atmosphere. With an excellent host to boot. And as you just said, good bonds are hard to come by. What's not to like? Yeah, he's moving back here, right? Or at least that's the plan. He told me he got a few things to discuss on that. Well, it's part of why I'm here tonight. Aside from getting myself a hot drink, that is. Much obliged. So Henry told me about this Indonesian ginger drink. It has milk, honey, and a couple of other stuff in it. I think it's called STMJ. I'll have a cup of that. Thanks a lot. So what's in it again? No wonder it somewhat reminds me of eggnog. Albeit spicier and not as rich. But I could see why Hendry likes it. You're probably right. As long as he remembers to take breaks. Maybe I should invite him for a drink here sometime. What do you think? Then consider it done. You know what? I don't think Hyde will show up tonight. When I called him earlier to confirm, he sounded a little annoyed. And it's not exactly great outside either. Him, yes. His car, not so much. That thing wouldn't survive this kind of storm. I used to drive him in that car back in the day. Did he ever tell you how old it is? Oh. I guess I'm just surprised he still uses it at all. What do you mean? Yeah. Are you saying his move is motivated by nostalgia? I get what you're trying to say, though. It's the strange longing for times gone by. Considering how fast things are changing these days. Maybe even too fast. Which is ironic, really. Live long enough, you'll realize the only constant in life is change itself. Things like shifting necessities, curveballs the world throws at you, just the stuff we have to deal with, indefinitely. Considering our lifespans, you'd think we'd get used to it at some point, but we never do. Never completely, anyway. Huh, that sounds about right. Perhaps nostalgia is like an anchor for dinosaurs like us. Keeps us from losing ourselves to the world's relentless speed. You get used to these after a while, huh? Oh, hey there. We meet again.
Yes. Hello.
Excuse me for a moment.
Good evening. I'm meeting up with someone. My car? Oh, you mean the tire. There's really no need for concern as it was an easy fix. But thank you for asking. May I order a cup of Russian tea? That's a good one. This is perfect, by the way. Thank you. You should know, shouldn't you? After all, you were tasked to give me his contact info. We did, yes. But truth be told, I really wasn't sure about contacting him at all. Because as far as I'm concerned, there was no real reason for me to do so. Nevertheless, I sent him an email the following night, right after the completion of my final delivery, at 3 a.m. A little, but surely no worse than forgetting it altogether. But he replied straight away, to my surprise. Right? I wonder if he ever sleeps. Oops. Anyhow, he answered me with an apology. He regretted his rudeness from when we first met, which was another surprise, since I didn't think it was such a matter of concern. Did he? I see. How peculiar. In any case, we exchanged phone numbers and have been texting ever since. Then he said he wants to meet up and speak in person. Which is why I'm here now. But I'm still not quite sure it's necessary. Perhaps. I suppose we'll see.
Yeah, so Hyde's not coming tonight. Probably for the best, given the circumstances. Yeah, he just wants to take it easy tonight. No need to apologize for something out of your control.
That's right. You tried everything you could.
How are you doing, miss?
Hey there. Did you manage to resolve your issues with children?
Sorry?
Oh, I mean, the hospital admission problem from the other day?
Oh, that. For a minute there, I thought I had a beef with kids I was unaware of.
Sorry for the misunderstanding.
No worries. That was funny. It's only been a few days, so not much has changed. How about you? Feeling better?
Yes. Well, I apologize for the way I acted a few days ago.
We all have our bad days, so don't worry about it.
Thank you. Sure. It was quite near the police station, actually, at a metered spot just outside the now defunct library.
Oh, the vacant building at the Bourne intersection?
Yes, that's correct.
I see. So it was originally a library. I know of the property, yeah. It's been abandoned for a long time now. But it's a heritage building, so I often wonder why there's nothing being done with it, since it's located in a very populated, culture-centric neighborhood.
That's true. There's even an art college nearby.
Right? Then again, I've always found that street a bit odd.
Odd. How?
It's just barren. Especially if you consider the area. The weird thing is, I feel like it wasn't always that way. Nope, exactly what I said. It's a feeling, not a clear memory. Strange, isn't it?
Well, there used to be a flea market there, a long, long time ago. Perhaps that is what you were recalling?
A flea market, huh? The last time I drove there, I remember seeing nothing but concrete. Oh, wait. There was a single dead tree, surrounded by strange trinkets. No idea why I almost forgot about it. It stuck out like a sore thumb. About 8 feet tall, no leaves. It's been there forever, too, as far as I know.
That hawthorn tree was something of a landmark for us drivers, and the trinkets you spoke of were actually remembrances of sorts. Sure. Sounds about right. Except the tree is no longer there.
Oh?
Are you serious, Pops?
Why wouldn't I be?
That is crazy. Hey, everyone. Oh boy. I thought I'd be here early, but you're already here, lady.
Hello.
For the love of all things holy, tell me my lighter is here. Hot damn, thank goodness. Nah, it's fine. I'm just glad to know it's here. Just bring it with my drink later. Cheers. Well, well, well. What's up, y'all? Oh, what's new?
Evening, officer.
Oh,
They got your car too, lady?
Yes, but it's not a big issue.
still, sorry you had to experience that. Where did you park your car, miss?
I can send you the coordinates if you'd like.
That'd be real swell. Got it.
Okay.
Oh. Pretty much. The same location where I parked mine a week ago.
I see.
You can rest assured, we already increased patrols in that area. But I am the only one doing it at the moment. What's that? Am I hearing you, out of all people, doubting my skill? Ah, well, them's the breaks, I suppose. Anyway, give me your strongest espresso. And don't forget my lighter. Oh, there it is. Thanks. You probably think I'm being silly. Oh, what can I say? It's my lucky charm. Yeah. It's borderline superstitious, I know. Don't you have anything of the sort? Well, I have good reason to be superstitious. Whenever I don't have this with me, things happen. Cheers. Ah, perfect, as always.
Might as well. I'd like something desserty. Because it's my cheat day. Well, I saw this video of a Spanish hot cocoa drink yesterday. It was so thick, I thought it was chocolate sauce. The name also reminded me of a song. But for some reason, I can't remember the title right now. For real? Then I'll have that thick cocoa. It's got milk and a little hot, spicy kick to it. So that's what it's called. Very cool. Then, bon appetit. I think this is it. Very tasty. Thanks. So, Pops. Just earlier, you were telling me about your creepy patrolling experience, right? Was it in the same location where the lady's car was?
Well, I don't know if I should even talk about it. Because maybe it's just a tad too spooky, even for me.
What happened?
Tell him, Pops.
It's not that big a deal, honestly.
Then all the more reason to talk about it, right? Maybe someone here will know something.
You've got a point there. Y'all were talking about the area anyway, right? Well, I've been patrolling there the past few nights. The street itself is fairly straightforward. It's about half a mile round trip from the intersection and back. There's nothing much there either. A concrete sidewalk with metered parking spots. A fence here and there. And an unfinished construction site with a couple of CCTVs dotted about.
No tree.
What tree?
There used to be a dead tree in front of the old library.
Huh. Oh, that old dead tree. It was uprooted by the city back in January.
Ah,
The commercial community decided it wasn't really a good look. So when the city started a massive cleanup project last year, well, they simply voted to get rid of it.
I see.
Why? What's up? You think so?
are you expecting something from me?
Huh?
I understand. But I would like to hear the officer's spooky tale first, if you don't mind.
Gladly, miss. Almost forgot about me there, huh? So anyway, patrolling on that street is an easy task. Only 4 to 5 cars would park there overnight, at most, which makes keeping track a breeze. As expected, though, nothing happened the first 2 nights. But yesterday was a different story. Whoa! What a stage setup, huh?
Thank goodness.
Already? Well, it was near the end of my shift, and I found nothing was amiss. There were only 4 cars parked that night. 2 spaced across the street and 2 on the opposite corner, side by side. My plan was to leave after I walked one last round to make sure everything was okay. And a reminder, you can cover the whole place in only 8 minutes. Then, at the end of my walk, I took a drag of my cigarette, smug as I was about to clock out, thinking 'twas another night, job well done, right? Wrong, as I was immediately faced with the impossible. 3 cars, 2 side by side, 1 across the street, all tires flattened. That's 12 vandalized tires for you, in a span of less than 10 minutes.
That is so strange. It would take several minutes to flatten just 1 tire. And that's if you're using the right tools.
Right? But that wasn't all. Oh no, it wasn't. Because that was the moment when the streetlights went out suddenly and all at once.
What?
Right after that, I heard flurries of footsteps and laughter. They were going farther and farther away from the scene, and yet, I saw nothing at all.
Oh.
Did the CCTV catch anything?
The infrareds actually managed to catch something. But the videos weren't clear at all, so I'm still investigating it.
Jeez Louise, Pops. That's way spookier than what you told me in the car. But it's cool though.
I may be laughing now, but I almost pissed my pants there, you see.
Well, whoever they are, sure worked fast.
Right? Anyway, I think I want another drink. All that talking is making my throat dry, and coffee just ain't cutting it. What do you suggest? Sounds good. Can you use the red flower stuff you have as a base? Okay, then I like red flower tea with ginger and a touch of honey. Oh, what does it mean? I see. A legit herbal drink. Spicy, but perfect for the weather. Good call.
If that's the case, let me join your patrol, Pops. Because I'm not scared of ghosts. Real beings scare me more.
Wait a sec, kid. What do you mean by ghosts, huh? Jumping the gun a little there, ain't ya?
I don't know, Pops. Maybe it's something crazier than that.
This is a really serious problem, kid. Don't joke around like that.
Sorry.
Interesting.
You know something?
No, not me. But she might.
Right. The tree, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. What about it, miss? It's your turn to finish your thought.
I'm not sure if this can be any use at all, but... Officer, are you aware of the story behind that tree?
Huh?
Well, it's because someone passed away there.
What?
Allow me to explain. I mentioned there was once a flea market on that street, correct?
Right.
They called it the Fairy Market. It was unofficially set up by the transients of that community. Transients being the government's term for unregistered citizens, including all the other uncategorizable beings at the time. The fairies were a part of that.
I remember learning about it. After the war, the government made its first official attempt to sort things out. Organizing equitable classifications was thought as one of the first steps towards civil peace. But it was oversimplified, inefficient, and not speedy enough.
Was all that before the Vindication Act?
Way before that. Many who couldn't register were basically in administrative limbo.
What? That's as good as, like, not existing at all.
It was the main reason why the fairy market was created in the first place. To ensure transient survival throughout the changing times. In more ways than one. The market had no real schedule. Therefore, the start of Fairy Week would be marked by flowers strewn along the intersection, just so people would notice and come and take a look.
Sounds kinda too low-key, no?
Because it was illegal, silly.
Oh.
And that was exactly the problem. The market ran day and night, its format unchanging. At the same time, the economy was slowly reshaping the landscape. People started to spend more, becoming reckless, while the laws were still shaky at best. Then a tragic incident occurred one night. A drunk driver was speeding and went off course, striking a vendor there, and the only evidence left of the crime was that tree, standing where there was no tree before.
Wait a second, what? Why did I never hear about it?
How long ago was this?
The accident occurred in 1959, but the market itself was forcefully disbanded in 1961.
Happened before I was born, huh?
Yeah, I remember everything now. It was actually quite an infamous case, wasn't it? But, due to the nature of the beings involved, most people couldn't help but, well, forget. We're talking about the late 50s to early 60s here. Post-war media was still quite scarce. And I remember the truck driver was also the son of a very wealthy individual.
Oh.
Correct. But that wasn't exactly the part that made the case so infamous. It was due to the fact that no body was ever found at the crash site, as well as the vendor being a transient with no legal ID or paper trail. As a result, the court had no choice but to dismiss the case.
But there was a body, wasn't it? Just not the one people might expect.
You mean the tree?
Right. When semi-spiritual beings like us pass on from the physical world, some may leave specific landmarkers behind. Not all can do that, though. Us banshees don't do that.
You don't?
No, we simply disappear.
So, if I'm getting this right, the tree couldn't be used as evidence because it wasn't classified as remain. The witnesses were in the same boat, no paper trail. So the driver's lawyer took advantage of those loopholes. And that's messed up.
Beyond messed up, Pops. Whoa. I'm boiling.
I'll take a further look into this more, miss. But I have a question for you.
Yes?
You think the vandalism has anything to do with the tree removal?
I don't know. I suppose it might depend on when the acts of vandalism began.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I better get going then. It's almost time for my shift.
Break a leg, Pops.
I'd rather not.
Stay safe.
Will do. I'll keep y'all posted.
I'd better go as well. Got an early shift tomorrow. There's one thing I want to confirm, though, if you don't mind, miss.
Yes?
It's about the fairies passing and how everyone ends up forgetting about them afterwards. I really thought that was just a myth. I guess not.
Unfortunately. That is why there used to be memorabilia around that tree. They were efforts by those who remembered to preserve the memory.
But it wasn't enough, was it? Else, we'd still have the tree. It really makes me question my memory. Are there any people I might have forgotten? Are there events I missed? It is quite scary to think about.
For beings like us, being forgotten is inevitable. So, no need to feel bad about it.
Is that so? Oh, I didn't catch your name, by the way. I'm Gala.
Oh, I'm Lucas. Nice to meet you, sir.
Lucas, huh? Sounds familiar for some reason.
I mean, I'm kind of a big deal online, you know?
I remember now. That toy from the other day had his name on it, right?
A toy? You mean the business card I gave you? I see now. Somehow you gave it to him instead.
Let me be the one to apologize for that. They gave it to me because I was having a small trouble at work.
Yeah? Was it helpful in any way? I mean, it's pretty good at easing up anxiety and such.
I thought the children would like it, but apparently for them it's a little passé.
What?
Children nowadays mature really fast.
They sure know their trends early.
That is true. It's just how things are, for now and in the future. Gotta keep up with the world, else you get left behind.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the idea of having toys around the office for the kids. I'll make sure to have more up-to-date stuff for them.
Yeah, glad I could help.
Well then, nice meeting you. Good luck with your future auditions, Miss Riona.
Thank you.
See you around.
Bye.
You okay? It's getting real late. I still want to talk, but if you're tired, let me know. Have you eaten? Do you want something to eat? You don't? No wonder your place is always empty. Just kidding. Don't hate me, please. Well, do you want another drink, maybe?
I wouldn't mind one.
Nice. What do you feel like having?
Something without milk. With a fresh feeling and some brightness to it. I'm also quite partial to the blue pea tea.
Uh-oh. Okay, I'll order something for you. May I?
Sure.
Hey, could you try this mix? I saw this pretty drink in a video and it looked perfect for Our Lady. It had blue pea as the base, a lot of mint, and a splash of lemon.
It looks nice. Very pretty. I like it. Thank you.
I'm glad you do. And wow, it looks exactly like what I envisioned. You're a G. But man, that whole case earlier though, it was a lot to take in. Also, about that whole forgetting thing, that really gave me chills.
Why?
Ugh. Don't you feel scared? Of just disappearing in the end? 'Cause I do. That's why I thought I finally understood you too. I mean, the reason why you wanted to become a soprano your way. The traditional way.
Oh. Care to compare notes? Because I've yet to be entirely certain about that myself.
Oh. Huh. Now that's what you call huge pressure. Before that though, can I ask a little teeny tiny question?
Go ahead.
What inspired you to go down this path? I mean, I may have an idea on why you're choosing the hard way, but why soprano in the first place?
Because it's been done before.
Pardon?
Because there was already a banshee who did it before. So I know it's not impossible.
Whoa, for real?
Her part was that of a sorbet aria, and she was not very well known. Oh, I mean she was a secondary character. Back in early 19th century opera, sorbet arias would be sung towards the end of the second act, usually before the evening ended. Hawkers would use the time to offer their wares for the last time to the patrons, often desserts. Hence, sorbet aria.
Like background singing at the end of a show or something?
Yes. Things are different nowadays because people are expected to listen to the end. The first time I heard her voice was on an old recording of a comedy opera. I was still very young back then. She was playing a confused maid role at the very end of the opera, wondering why and how people could act so crazy when in love. But despite her confusion, she thought she wasn't so old that she couldn't find out the reason herself. It was a funny epilogue to the opera. But hearing a banshee sing such a playful and lighthearted piece, it was truly an eye-opener for me.
Oh man, I bet it was.
Sadly, I couldn't find any of her other works, but it always stuck with me, nonetheless. So I left my commune and started trying on my own.
I agree.
I have never talked about this before. It's a bit embarrassing.
Nah, don't be embarrassed. I think it's super cool. You're just feeling inspired to push yourself beyond what's expected of you. And wishing to leave a mark on this world.
Is that what you think?
Uh-huh. You're just trying to follow a path that has been traveled before. And that's not always a bad thing. Especially for beings like us. Right. Because the path you're choosing to walk on is still difficult. Regarding leaving your mark, I don't know. I just feel maybe you're the same as me. Like, what's the point of being born if nobody's going to remember us? Right? Oh,
Why do you want to be remembered so much?
why wouldn't you?
Us banshees see the end differently than most. So, care to enlighten me?
Uh, I I can't speak for anyone else, but in my case, I was a kid who grew up in a large family, you see. Like, humongously large. Literally couldn't count all my siblings even if I wanted to. 'Cause they're everywhere, thanks to my dad. We weren't wealthy though, not even close. The money situation was always suffocating us, for real. But sometimes Dad would drop by to give us some money. Though it wasn't even enough to cover utilities for more than a couple of months. Then he'd just leave again a couple of days later.
Are you the eldest?
Nope. But my older bros had already moved out by the time I hit high school. I was so surprised when my dad gave me the house after he died. Which is where my mom and siblings live now. No, it's fine. I mean, yeah, it was weird to receive the news of his death from an attorney, knowing he passed away by himself, and how it took them a week to find out. Natural causes, by the way. So, I mean, how did he check out with absolutely no one knowing? Where were my other siblings? What happened to his ladies? It was just so crazy to me. And I guess it just kind of haunted me. My life growing up was filled with disappointment over him, you know? I mean it in the best way possible. My disappointment actually drove me to work hard for my family. I just vilified him in my mind, like shaking my mental fist at him. Gonna do so much better than you, sir, and all that.
I see.
But then I received the news that he left me the house? Like, I know he had no money. That house is probably one of the only assets he had left. So when he gave me the house in his will, all I could think about was, what went through his mind exactly?
The fact that he had a will at all was probably already a surprise for you.
Exactly! What am I supposed to think of that? What am I supposed to think of him? And does it even matter anymore? When he's already long gone? Anyway, so my older brothers came back, right? They wanted me to sell the house and divide the earnings.
You didn't do that, right?
Heck no! That's why I left for LA. So if they really want me to sell the house, they have to chase after me. Thankfully, my younger siblings and I are pretty tight. We're a good team.
That's a relief.
But that was also why I needed money fast. I needed to send money to help with my family's bills. And of course, so I could stay alive as well. That was why I ended up having to join the production house.
The production house?
Yeah, it was like a bunch of content creators getting together to make videos every day. I was young and naive too, you know? Because it was my first time venturing to another state completely alone after all. So I didn't know better how predatory things could be. Man, this isn't even gonna be an entertaining story.
If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to talk about it.
No, it's not that. I just really didn't like that production house. But I needed the money. Someone there saw my vlogs and invited me in. And as one of the youngest there, I tried to get along with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, we were all creators in the entertainment industry, right? which means we all had huge, huge egos. So naturally, there was somewhat of a hierarchy of sorts. Trying to be all around helpful turned me into the butt of the joke all the time.
Hmm.
That didn't discourage me all that much, by the way. I mean, I also learned a lot there, not gonna lie. Still. But what ended up destroying my willpower was actually something real close, you know? Myself. Well, in a house where everyone wants to be the main character, each of us would need a solid, distinct persona, yeah? Eventually, I was assigned one too. Which was supposed to be a good thing, but they wanted me to be the worst version of what I am, essentially, with heavy emphasis on what. I had a lot of nicknames too, like, "Hey, baby goat. What are you up to now, cedar boy? Here comes the party goatee. Mr. Excess. Ahem. You gonna go fishing again tonight, or..." You had to go out and try to hit on people. And we weren't allowed to come home unless we failed spectacularly or scored. I always tried to be the punchline though, because there were always more views when something ended badly. But it was still the worst, because I really had to act it all out, bothering people for pretend dates, be sort of a dumb jerk just for joke, just so all looked fun for the camera. Even if scripted, I never really liked doing it, honestly. Because in the end, all of it just reminded myself of my dad. And I kept thinking, does the apple never fall far from the tree after all? So yeah, the whole thing just really sucked.
You had it difficult.
Yeah? Well, long story short, being tokenized sucked. The end. Sorry, I swear that wasn't what I wanted to talk to you about.
It's fine. I actually learned a lot this evening.
I just don't want to take up more of your time. So can I just ask you a direct question?
Sure.
Great. Would you be interested in guest starring on my new show? I realized I was being dumb the day we first met. I kind of forced my thoughts on you and was just being a general smartass. I undermined your straightforward efforts because I was jealous of your solid resolve, since everything I did was anything but.
But you succeeded eventually, didn't you? And you worked hard for it.
Yet I almost ended up losing sight of why I've been doing all this in the first place. I went with the flow, made excuses a lot, all to justify the gain. But to what end? That's why I've been trying to put together a talent showcase for those who need extra exposure. It's going to be a small production thing. It'll be paid, I swear. And not with exposure either. Though it won't be much at first, because I don't have that much money ready to use at the moment, so...
Wait. This is a bit sudden, don't you think?
No pressure, though.
How does the show work?
Well, I'm not 100% sure of the shape of it yet, but ideally, it'll have like an interview at first, and then I'll record your singing. I'll bring all the gear. I'll also be doing all the editing and stuff. It's gonna take a bit of time since I still have my main show to do. But I did start my vlogging journey on my own too. So I can bet you the result will still be quality.
Your show will tank if I'm the first guest. You realize that, right?
If it does, then it doesn't deserve to exist. I don't care about haters, but you do. That's why I won't push you.
Ah. I'm flattered. But no thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for considering me, though.
thanks for giving it a thought. Looks like I have to go.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with what you said, okay? Just bad timing.
Yes, I get it.
Cool. I hope we can meet again like this. If you want to.
Maybe.
I'll take it. Thanks for your time too. Sorry if I bored you. Cool. Okay. I really have to go. See you around?
Safe trip.
Alrighty. See you.
I think tonight was the most I have talked in the past 2 years. Thank you. For being such a good host. I know I'm not the easiest being to get along with. Then I'll be taking my leave. I feel like I have a lot to rethink, but I'll see you again soon.
Well, it was fine, except I was a little exhausted. No, that's not it. It's just... Well, For starters, my Fury is giving me a hard time. Nope, but sometimes I get pre-Fury symptoms. Yeah, it's a common thing for werewolves. A few days before the full moon, our bodies start to prepare for Fury. And that changes the way they react to pretty much everything. Symptoms vary depending on who you ask. But it can affect our muscles, our appetite, our energy levels. It can give us headaches and a lot of other stuff. Small, but annoying. No, to be honest, it's not great. For me, I've been feeling pretty sore and more tired than usual. And a bit crankier as well. I never found one, but if anyone can come up with it, it's you. Maybe, but I think it'd need to be more relaxing. Like a Galahad, but with no caffeine, and maybe blue. Do you come up with these names on the spot? That almost makes it sound like you know in advance what we're going to order. Right. Let's see how your sixth sense tastes. Wow, this is excellent. Exactly what I needed. Actually, guess I'll just come out with it. I need your help.
Come on. I wasn't that bad.
No? I was so tired today I nearly fell asleep on the job. And most importantly, it's not good for you. Moping around, sulking, refusing to look at solutions. I've never seen you like this, and I'm getting worried.
There's nothing to worry about.
You say that, but then you spend entire nights looking miserable. No advice I come up with is good enough. And hide. I'm barely keeping it together as it is. You should know by now how I feel when Fury's about to hit. You bet we did. After I walked out of here, I headed home and found this one. Lying on the sofa, staring at the ceiling. Looking so gloomy it sucked the color out of the room. And it's not the first time either. It's a constant these days. Please help me help him. I'm at my wit's end.
Fine. The truth is, I'm bored to death. Or I would be, if it wasn't for the whole immortality thing. I'm nearing 40 years old. and I've never been this bored in my entire life. "40 years old in vampire years. I'm not saying how old that is in other species' years."
Eyes on the prize. Intervention first, gossip later.
My job. My job!
Hey, no need to shout.
Well, I'm also irritated about it, okay? I'm not exactly used to sitting around twiddling my thumbs, but modeling stopped being fun ages ago. Yeah. It's all just so brief. Back when I started modeling, people thought of fashion in a different way. They wanted to keep their outfits for a while. So they had to be elegant, well-made, and versatile. Some campaigns that I featured in stayed on billboards for months. And I knew the clothes would last decades. In a way, it felt like I was building a bond with their wearers. I endorsed something that would feature in their cherished memory. But then social media came, and it all became the clothes themselves, of course, but the models even more. I shoot a campaign, the brand posts it online, and it gets attention for what? 10 minutes? Then another campaign comes in, and everything's forgotten. Blink, and it's gone. There's no bond to be built there. That's true, and people are getting into vintage clothes. I salute that. But the reality of my job remains the same.
What about your fans? You have so many people following you.
You mentioned that last night, and my answer hasn't changed. They follow me because they think I'm pretty. Being admired is nice, but it doesn't constitute a bond. Maybe so. It would be nice if I did something that people remembered. That became a part of their lives in a real way.
You do know that you have people in your life in a real way, right? People who will always remember you.
That's not the same thing.
Maybe you should study to become a doctor or something. That would make a real difference.
No, thank you. The job still needs to be fun. Studying for 10 years just to exhaust myself in 14 hours. Did you mistake me for a hard-working vampire?
Do you see what I'm dealing with?
Yeah, that sounds good. Just make me something I like. Anything you've seen me enjoy. Recently or when we first met.
Nice. And you lost your bet, Hyde. When Hyde was wallowing in self-pity yesterday, I told him many people cared about him. And I bet you could remember what he liked, even if he gave you no instructions. So now I get to say I was right. And Hyde gets to buy me dinner at a place of my choosing.
Ugh. You're going to pick that horrible steakhouse again, aren't you?
You know it. Let's see. You say it, Hyde.
He's won every single one of the bets we've ever made.
Yeah. I'm this close to being able to buy a new TV with the money I'm saving on food.
Just rub it in my face, why won't you?
Oh, hi everyone.
Hey, Lua.
Hi, Lua.
Busy night, I see. That's good. And I'm really glad you're here, Hyde. I wanted to apologize for the other night. I was so excited to see you, especially since it had been a while. But we ended up fighting with Bailey's instead. You must be getting bored of our arguments.
It's all right. They're kind of fun to.
How are things with you two, by the way?
Just let me order before I answer. If that's all right. I spent the whole day talking in meetings and presentations, so I have a bit of a sore throat. Is there anything you'd recommend for that? Sounds great. I'd love a lemon and honey drink then, please. Thanks, Doctor. This is truly lovely. Just what I needed. My company's trying to get a big contract. So I've been organizing meetings with everyone. Making sure it's all going according to plan.
That sounds pretty tough.
Yeah, it's a lot of responsibilities and decision-making. And part of me likes that, but part of me feels the pressure of it. So it's nice to be able to unwind with a warm cup. Anyhow, to answer your earlier question, Gala. You've probably gathered that Bay and I have been fighting.
Yeah. And Hyde told me a little bit about it, too.
Right. Well, we haven't discussed the wedding for the past couple of days. And honestly, it's done me a lot of good. The thing is, I know Bay means well. He suggests all these things he thinks I'd like. And I should like them. He's paying attention, not just sending random ideas. I should be grateful that he's trying to please me. But I get annoyed instead. And then I start feeling guilty that I'm annoyed. Which makes me even more annoyed. It's not great, I know.
Well, it'd be easier if we always acted rationally. We only got annoyed at the right people for the right reasons. But things aren't that simple, are they?
That's true.
Although, I guess if you figured out what actually annoys you, it would help.
That's the problem. I'm not sure. At first, I thought I was tired or worried. The decision making at my job is taking a toll, for sure. It's a bit hard for me to also deal with organizing things in my personal life. Also, the financial side of it's hard to navigate. I don't want Bay to spend too much money, but he's right that involving my family comes with strings attached. I'm not sure how to avoid that, though. But I'm realizing that might not even be the main issue. The more he sends me links to venues and caterers, the more it all feels wrong to me. I don't mean the wedding itself. I want to get married to Bay. But the way we're planning it, I don't know. I've been to my friends' weddings before. I've also been browsing the most popular wedding pictures online. There are always these big parties. Very put together, they're very classy. They have their whole families over. Their friends and colleagues. They rent these beautiful barns and they hire live bands. They wear designer dresses and bespoke suits. I used to look at that and think, this is great, this is what I want. And now it all just feels more and more off to me.
Why don't you tell your fiancé that?
What if he thinks I'm getting cold feet? Or that I'm questioning his ability to help with the budget?
That's up to how you communicate it, isn't it?
Right. But it's still a difficult topic. We've been through so much. You all know that. This is supposed to be our special day. A way to celebrate our partnership. Bay wants to honor that. He'll feel awful if he thinks I don't. Or if he thinks I don't trust him.
I swear, you and your elf are well matched. You always worry so much about what others think, instead of working out your own wants and needs. You do realize that's the important bit, right?
I mean, generally yes, I get that. But how does it apply here?
What do you think it means to honor your partnership?
To celebrate it properly, for starters?
Right. And who are you in that partnership with?
I believe you've met him. The blonde guy with the puppy eyes?
Right. I'm glad you remember that. Because you were making it sound like you were in a relationship with your friends who got married and strangers who put wedding pictures online. This is your relationship you're celebrating. Why are you so concerned with other people's weddings? Your special day needs to make sense to the two of you. Have it in trainers at a fast food joint, if that's what you like. That way, you can also take the budget out of the equation. A simpler wedding won't feel shabby if you make it feel proper.
I still want a pretty outfit and decent food.
Thank goodness.
But point well taken. It's just... my family might have certain expectations.
Did they openly say that?
No.
Then maybe they do. Or maybe you just think they do. The only way to find out is to talk to them. Besides, isn't Bailey's also about to become your You sure are the only family he's got. I'm not saying disinvite everyone or to fight with them or anything, but you shouldn't put their needs above your own.
I really shouldn't, should I? You've given me food for thought. Thanks, Hyde.
My pleasure.
Amazing how you perk up when you give people advice, Hyde. Maybe you should become a therapist.
Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence. I did say I might become a couples counselor. But I agree with what you all implied. I don't think I'm quite tactful enough for that.
Are you looking to change careers, Hyde?
He's bored of modeling. Finds it too impermanent. Wants to leave a mark. Wants to have fun. Just a very quick summary.
Oh, I see. Well, is there any way you can make modeling fun again?
I don't think so. Last time I had proper fun was maybe 20 years ago.
What happened then?
I was modeling a capsule collection for a young designer. And she wanted to take her own pictures. She got a studio, lugged the outfits there, found someone to do the makeup. Then she whipped out an old film camera. A proper relic. I hadn't seen one like it since the 60s.
My granddad has an old black and silver camera with 2 lenses. Was it something like that?
Yep, exactly like that. She said she preferred it because of the way it captured the light. And also because it was a slower experience. Something that would allow us to connect more. At first, I didn't think much of it. I started doing the usual, posing, switching, posing some more. But something felt different. Then I realized what it was. Most of the time, we were just talking. She only took a picture once in a few minutes, if that.
Is that unusual?
Yep. Most fashion photographers take dozens of pictures in a row. I felt a bit sorry for her, to be honest. I thought she didn't know what she was doing, and that she was wasting her money. But we had a great time, and we got kind of friendly, I guess. Because at the end of it, she let me use up the remaining exposures. I fooled around, shot some random stuff. And then she suggested I come with her to her dark room. Watch how she developed the pictures and how they came out.
You did always have a fondness for dark places.
Comes with the territory. But as for the pictures, well, first of all, I looked really like me, you know? But that's not even what stuck with me the most. It's the care she put into processing each frame, working each picture through the chemical baths, hanging them, drying them. It was like watching a magic and her portrait. When she saw it, she got a bit emotional. She said she was used to being on the other side of the camera. And it was the first time she really liked a portrait someone took of her. I'm in a weird place these days. It's not like me to tell these kinds of tales. Or to launch into soppy monologues. Really. Just forget it.
No, I think it's a beautiful story. And it gives me an idea, I think, of another career for you.
Please share, Lua. You'd be doing both of us a solid.
Go on then.
Well, maybe it's because I've looked at so many of them recently. But apparently, film is making a big comeback for wedding pictures. It's what you said. It captures the light beautifully. And it's a more personal, slower approach. Maybe you could try that.
Who? Me?
No. The other vampire who's looking for a new line of work.
I think you've got the wrong guy here, Lua. I know I'm disgustingly sentimental these days, but I'm not that far gone. Attending one wedding gives me cavities, let alone several per month.
Oh, well. Forget about it then.
No, no, no. Don't forget about it at all. It'd be perfect for you. Come on, Hyde. I know you like to play strong and sarcastic, but you are sentimental. And you love to chat people up. You'd solve all the bridesmaids' drama and offend the parents. But most importantly, you do something for these people that they'll never forget. They'll look at your pics their whole lives. If that's not leaving a mark, I don't know what is.
You're assuming they won't get divorced.
It's alright. I know some marriages end in divorce, but that doesn't change anything, does it? Whether a marriage lasts for a few months or several decades, the wedding is still an unforgettable moment in someone's life.
That career in the Mafia is really looking up.
You're hopeless. Falling asleep on my chair now, so I'm gonna head back. Do whatever you want, you thick-skulled vampire. Just don't stay out too late, okay?
Yeah, alright.
That's my cue as well. I have some thinking to do. And maybe some talking. Thanks again, Hyde. And good luck. I hope your next adventure is a good one.
It will be. Good night, Lua.
Good night.
See you later.
Here we go again. Last one sitting. You didn't say anything about that wedding photographer idea. It's ridiculous, right? I do. Sometimes. But I'm not a romantic. People get married. They think they're taking a first step into forever. Well, there's no such thing as forever. Everyone ends up disappointed in some way. And then, next thing you know... I don't want to sound too depressing. Of course I do. But only in a certain kind. You can choose to keep supporting someone, to enjoy their company. You can do that for years, with friends, family, love. But at the end of the day, you're still you, a separate person, and they're still them. There's no two souls becoming one. I'd know. The one time I tried. It really didn't. No, I guess I don't. It confirmed for me that marriage and the like, it's never going to be my thing. And there's freedom in knowing that about myself. It's given me space to build other relationships that work much better. But at the same time, when I see people who truly believe it, people who walk into it, willing to share their lives so closely, even if for most of them it won't pan out. There's something beautiful there. Like watching a butterfly fly too close to a flame, or a flower bloom like it will never wilt. Well, in my case, I singed off my wings, but and on that day, for that minute when I said we'd be together forever and meant it, I sure felt alive. You're a tricksy one. And I'm too tired to fight your logic. Which means it's time for me to head back. Oh, it's plenty comfortable for sure. Besides... Well, it all boils down to this, doesn't it? The way time passes for me is very different from anyone else I know. Thank goodness Gala's from a long-living species. But even then, he'll grow old before I do. Eventually, the world will change 100 times. Technologies will die out, new technologies will come. I will feel again the way I feel now. In a century, and Lua and Gallo won't be around to give me advice. The world won't wait for me. But you will. Am I right? Hey, you've grown to know me quite well. It's only fair that I know you a little in return. And so anyway, I'm looking forward to that. To continuing our story. It's nice to know that no matter how much time passes, there's always going to be someone here rooting for me. I know you will. And on that note, I guess I'm going to go browse for some film cameras. What's the worst that can happen? Take care of yourself, friend.
Hey. Oh. Sorry. My mind is kind of elsewhere right now. What else? Huh, your pal. I'm in a real bind. Well, never-ending workplace issues aside, things are getting weirder by the minute, and I'm feeling out of my depth. Yeah. I've been analyzing the CCTV footage the last couple of days. Yes and no. The infrareds caught a couple of blurry things. They ran off, turned a corner, and disappeared. Could have been anything, like rats or cats. But neither fits with what I heard on the scene. The footsteps, you know, and the laughter. Come to think of it, it sounded more like giggles. Not of that size, no. Huh. Even if they could, it doesn't explain the footsteps, really. I have some ideas, but they're just wild theories at this point. In short, I'm stumped. You know? I've been racking my brain ever since Miss Riona dropped that bomb about the fairies, you see. As it turns out, fairies was an umbrella term for many types of beings. Anything that didn't fit the known physical rules at the time was to be referred to as such. Probably. Not anymore, though. It's an ongoing process, but the list is getting shorter. But back then, any sentient being that was even remotely incomprehensible was considered, and that includes apparitions. Yes. Apparitions like ghosts. Ghosts. What do you mean I see? Doesn't it sound like a bad joke to you? Bud, come on. Those don't exist. Do they? Because if they do, all I can think about is that damn tree now. Does that mean it's haunted? Don't get how you can be so calm about this. You're right. I guess you're not the one who's being weird here. True that. Gosh, no. That's a long story. Not something I'm ready to talk about anyway. All you need to know is my fear was never caused by actual ghosts. Suggestion is a very powerful thing. That's all I'm willing to share, for now. You know, it's funny. My grandpa was very into this stuff. So is my daughter. They're like my opposites, very curious and fascinated by the unknown. Not that I'm not, mind you. It's just with my time as a cop and all, unknown variables usually mean trouble. They're the kind of people who could see things from nothing. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, you know the Zen rock garden thing from Japan? They understand the Zenness of it. I don't, but that doesn't stop me from thinking it's chill, you know? Yeah? But I'm sure he and my daughter could talk about it for hours. Too bad he passed away before she was born. Don't be. On that note, you see my lighter, right? My bad. That thing was originally my grandpa's. He bought it sometime after the war ended. It was to commemorate the upcoming new era, he said. In more ways than one. He got honorably discharged due to a severe leg injury he'd never be able to recover from. At the time, he was living right across the street from the former town hall. For obvious reasons, he couldn't walk far. So it was a good location for him with all the veteran support nearby and all. Now, about that street. You see, my grandpa liked to chat. Never liked being alone, that guy. Plus, he pretty much hated his bleak room. So sometimes, he'd go and hang out with the street vendors in front of his place. There were all kinds of beings there, along with their pets, from all walks of life. That's why he had a lot of stories about the craziest things. You see, the street's name just came to my mind last night. Can you take a guess what it is? Bourne Street, uh-huh. It wasn't called that before. That's why the whole thing didn't click for me straight away. But I went through his files, and it checks out. Bingo. You know what? You bought the lighter there. Are you sure it's only a coincidence? Come on. Ain't no way they're just coincidences. Everything is lining up too perfectly, if you ask me. Think about what happened so far. It was my team that found out about the vandalism before they dumped the whole case on me. Then my car was hit out of everyone's. Then my luck started tanking. The broken mug, the fan, the black cat. Just tons of weird stuff happening in the past week alone, you see. Then one thing led to another. My team was chosen to lead the investigation. And tell me, who's in charge of the case? Me. Then there's the Banshee lady, your patron, with some information I wouldn't have thought of. The dead tree stuff, the fairy market. Information I wouldn't even have remembered on my own. And now we know why I kept losing my lighter, right? How are they not connected? Tell me. I'm telling you, that place is calling for me. The case is made for me. They really picked the wrong guy. I'm just real bad at dealing with spooks. It made me question everything I've ever known, you know? Not when it comes to the supernatural stuff. Because we don't know enough about what's real and what will they do? Will they hurt us? Do they bring bad luck? Good luck? What's the truth? Who knows? Huh? What's that? Yeah. Oh. Huh. Protection from what, though? Ah, gotcha. But, even if the whole situation is haunted, there shouldn't be any evil spirits, right? What for? What are you going to make me anyway? Nah, I trust you. Here, make me this magical drink you've learned. Dang. This is really something else. You sure it's okay to drink? Ha. Huh. I'm just being silly, aren't I? Sorry for bothering you with all this stuff. You even made me this crazy drink to make me feel better. Thanks. Man. At least with crooks, you can actually deal directly with them, you know? Not the case with apparitions.
Not with that attitude.
Huh?
Everything can be caught with a little elbow grease. Not actual elbow grease. I won't make that mistake again.
McQueen. Is that you?
Hello, Williams. It's been a while.
It is you. The surprises just keep coming this week.
Now let me go over there.
More or less. We were brunch buddies. Brunch buddies.
I feel like I'm meant to say brunch buddies, and that's it. But I don't like to talk about it. I still get nightmares.
I feel ya. I wasn't sure we were gonna make it out alive.
We were truly the lucky ones.
Without a doubt.
Good. Because I don't like to talk about it.
So what brings you here, detective? Surely it's not the coffee.
Secret police reasons. I've not read the briefing yet. But enough about me. Tell me about your supernatural problems.
Yeah?
You need to bust a ghost?
Oh. Well, busting might be a bit much. I was just talking to them about getting over my fear of that stuff.
And ghosts?
Something like that. I'm weak against ghostly looking stuff. I get freaked out easily. For example, I admit I got a little spooked by what happened on Bourne Street the other day. I know very well that unchecked fear leads to prejudice. That's why it's a no-no in my book. It even pains me to admit that out loud.
Yeah, sometimes the toughest case to crack is ourselves. And other times it's ghosts.
How do you do it, detective? Your cases, man. I've probably lost all my hair by now if I were you.
I try not to think about it all that much. And when I do think about it, I think, who else will do it? Nobody. That's who.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, once you get over the dead part, they're just like you and me. Look, I remember this one case. We were investigating a haunted... Now, this lady, her husband had recently passed away, but wasn't moving on, if you get real deadbeat. Couldn't take a hint. Anyway, we had to go in and exorcise the place, right? But the husband, he's caught wind, and he's retreated into the basement. I won't get into the technicalities of it, But it's harder to get a ghost out of a basement or an attic. It's all about angles, really. I mean, I get it. It used to be his home. All his stuff is still there. It's hard, I get that. So I'm slowly going down the stairs to try and coax him out. Bam. Next minute, all this romantic music is playing. Then, before I know what hit me, I'm sitting at this pod. Oh. Maybe. We had a movie night at work, and I dozed off before it started. The story must have slipped into my subconscious.
Riveting.
Hey, detective. Hey, people I don't know.
Did you get your important errand sorted?
I sure did.
Dooley, I can see crumbs stuck to your face.
That's just the rain. It's very bready rain.
There's filling all over your top.
That's blood from a gunshot wound. It's healed up, though.
You're literally holding the receipt from the donut shop.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, detective.
Ay.
So, what'd I miss?
We're talking about getting rid of Officer Williams' fear of ghosts.
Hey,
Ghosts?
Yeah. You're afraid of them, right, Dooley?
No idea. Never met one.
We stopped a ghost riot.
Ghosts aren't real. So you don't need to be scared of them. Easy.
There you go, I guess. Sorry that wasn't much help.
nah. What you said, that they're just like us. That's a good thing to be reminded of.
Exactly. They used to be alive, just like us. As long as they don't try to eat, /possess, /violently murder you,
Very reassuring.
just talk to them. Feel the culture. Listen to their issues. And treat them like any other person. See what's on the inside.
Which should be easy since you can see through them.
I thought you didn't believe in ghosts.
It's best not to overthink anything he says.
I certainly don't.
Well, thanks for the advice. I think it'll help.
Now a pleasure. Now, Dooley, I think we should read that case briefing and find out why we're here.
I already did.
Oh?
Turns out we were meant to arrest the person driving that taxi. Instead of taking it all the way to Seattle. Yes.
Why?
The driver was, super cat.
Okay, let's get out of here, Dooley. Good luck, officer.
Thanks, McQueen. A lot. You too, Officer Dooley.
Bye, guy. Good luck with your rap problem or whatever. Bye, Coffee Wizard.
Well, what do you know? Looks like my good luck is back. I'm feeling like $1 million now. Thanks anyway. Okay enough to start thinking about what to do next. I'm done here for the night. You have a good evening, alright? Will do.
Hello. It's a mess. There's construction work taking place on Leonora Avenue. Fortunately, I have no deliveries to make today. I'd like something for my throat. I would appreciate a cup of tea infused with some lemon and a touch of honey. How whimsical. It's wonderful. Sweet, but well balanced with the lemon and the slight bitterness of the tea. Thank you. Is that so? How is he? Oh. I see. Would you mind doing me a favor? Could you give my contact information to him? We only connected via Bluetooth last time, so... What I said a few days ago may have been a bit overwhelming. It is possible that I spoke more than was necessary. All because I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness knowing what happened to the tree. But it is not my intention to interfere with his work. As such, if he requires any assistance, please do let me know. It is the least I could do, as I realized there would be plenty of difficulty obtaining information. Oh, I mean, because Officer Georgie is a human, and we semi-physical beings have our own way of sharing information. As such... Okay. I just do not wish to incriminate anything or anyone. I'm glad. Sorry, did you say something? I was zoning out a little. Okay, thank you. To be honest, I've had a lot on my mind of late, and I don't know how to express it without sounding pathetic. That may actually be part of the problem, I am afraid. You know, I've held conversations with more individuals over the past week than I have in the past few years. It's troubling. I don't mean it necessarily in a negative way. It's just, I used to believe that I had a settled life objective, but I have been doubting it lately. I finally heard back from Miss Rachel yesterday. No. Our fields are admittedly quite different, so I was not expecting much. However, she provided me with some contacts who may be of assistance, even though they had no direct connection to the audience I am trying to reach. She explained clearly why she thinks I should contact them, however, which I am thankful for. In essence, the advice is to slowly increase my network, to make my... Sounds familiar, doesn't it? You can probably guess my concern about it. I feel like that would be a shortcut, so to speak. She did, however, remind me of an important and Well... Oh? But it's not guaranteed you'll get anything out of it, don't you think? Unless you're really, really sure the so-called shortcut is 100% gonna work. Because you have to do way, way more than just making a few calls and waiting for callbacks, you know? Thank you. After that, she told me a story about her early career experiences. Both getting noticed is truly only the beginning. Then it is either a matter of letting your talent speak for you, or you go out there to develop connections with the right people. Even then, there's still no guarantee of success. After listening to her explanation, I respect Miss Rachel's determination. I can certainly see how it worked out for her. But then I was left wondering whether Mr. Lucas meant something similar during our first meeting. I don't know. No more difficult than sending reels to every audition I've come across. And being rejected by every single one. But for some reason, I feel conflicted about it. Speaking of Mr. Lucas, he and I have also continued our correspondence. Although, perhaps it was more like a necessity. He was stuck? Actually, he posted about it on social media last night. Did you? I came across it when I was updating my schedule and responded out of concern. Then he called me almost immediately. He was loud. And extremely drunk. He denied it at first, but it was too obvious not to notice. He told me he was walking aimlessly, deep in thought, and entered Kerry Park, without realizing. Well, I wouldn't know. The bus to and from there is currently not operating after 10 p.m. which is why I sent him a message informing him of that fact, as he seemed to be unaware of it. So he called me to ask if there was any other mode of public transit nearby. He told me he wanted to know the city better. Why not? After all, you operate your business after dark yourself. Wasn't it partying? Nevertheless, I think last night was quite different. It appears he had dinner with his team, and he needed the extra courage in order to negotiate with them about his proposed new direction. Perhaps, and I know that feeling all too well. However, he said he will keep negotiating until they reach a compromise. Is it, though? Miss Rachel told me about the hoops she had to jump through at the beginning of her career with her teammates as well. Likewise, Mr. Lucas has to work hard to obtain approval from his team for his action. How can they still be so positive? I just cannot picture myself convincing others to give me a chance like that. I almost wanted to ask, why do we have to be at the mercy of others in order to succeed or fail? Can't talent speak for itself? But if I truly believed that, with the number of rejections I've received so far, I should have stopped a long time ago, shouldn't I? What do you mean? I see what you mean. Art would cease to be art if it were standardized, wouldn't it? However, doesn't that imply that everything still depends on the whims of the individual judging you at that moment? How does someone like Miss Rachel or Mr. Lucas manage to be fine with that? What do you mean? But it's not easy to climb those hills, especially if you've never done it before. Because one can't possibly know every single way to overcome obstacles, or be able to safely recognize warning signs without first learning about them from others. Is that what you're trying to say? I see. Still. Yes. Sorry. I got a bit lost in my thoughts. I picked him up and drove him home. I am. But I still had unfinished business in the downtown area. Moreover, he suddenly began singing quite loudly nearing the end of our call, which led me to conclude that it would be best for me to go and fetch him. If not for the fact that he was screaming most of the lyrics, that is. His hoodie was soaked when I arrived, so he had to take it off before getting into my car. Thankfully, the water did not completely soak through to his shirt, so he remained relatively dry. However, I still had to lay down the seat covers as his fur got rather wet. Well, he happily asked me to do karaoke with him, which I declined. I ended up taking him for a drive, though, as I needed to take care of my unfinished business. No, I was buying a pie. Yes. Why? Concerned you may have a competitor? Oh, you will be fine. Oh, why? I see. Well, it is a very small kiosk attached to a pub. Very easy to miss. The spot is known as Disco Pie, and it serves fresh pies until 1 a.m. Yes, and that seemed to fascinate him for some reason. He ordered a slice of warm apple crumble with a scoop of French vanilla ice cream on top, and a large cup of piping hot coffee with a little bit of milk. Oh. But it was my suggestion since I thought he needed to warm up. I apologize. Oh, that's really good information to know. This is why you are the best barista. Thank you. I had a slice of hibiscus blueberry mint pie myself. And just so you know, I did not order anything to drink. I enjoyed it. You serve hibiscus here too, don't you? I'll remember to order it next time. And so, we continued our conversation afterwards. That was when he told me he had not given up on his goal, despite the many disappointments with his team. He also told me why he does not drive at all. It is... On second thought, it may be better to hear the story directly from him. Another time. I apologize. We also discussed quite a few things we have in common. Yes, surprisingly. And before we knew it, it was already nearing 5 a.m. I'm not sure. However, his exhaustion seemed to finally catch up with him then, so I drove him home. No. I should go now. I have a lot to think about. Thank you for being patient with my concerns. Have a good evening then.